And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Glad you guys could make it for our latest sight reading session episode. Today we're going to be talking about B1 and 000, otherwise known as 000, or sometimes people have been calling him Trips thus far. We're going to talk real quick about their general highlights, and then we're going to get into their kits, as well as some of the background thoughts and information on them as well. First and foremost, they're both dark side. They're both droids. You can see the BT1 is an attacker. 000 is a support. And they're both scoundrel. I find that very interesting. Could be interesting to see if they work kind of like Cat and they have flexibility to kind of go back and forth from, squadron to squadron, especially since they're droids in particular. Couple of highlights here for BT1. Dark Duo. When 000 is an ally, BT1 assists when 000 uses a special ability, and BT1 gains a granted ability while 000 is active. Wanton Destruction. BT1 gets so excited when he defeats an enemy that he deals damage indiscriminately, interesting, to both friend and foe, so he'll actually damage both parties. That's an interesting decision. Entirely Homicidal. BT1 gains massive amounts of offense and benefits directly each time he or 000 defeats an enemy in 3v3 grand arenas. Oh boy, here we go. I personally hate 3v3. If you guys love 3v3, this is really good for you. Looks like they're going to be really good in 3v3. Synergy suggestions, and this you can see this is pretty similar for both of them. In fact, identical for both of them. They're going to work really well with T3M4, Sortie, and Dark Trooper. 000 highlights Specialist. When you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. 000 inflicts torture on his foes, and then offers benefits to allies who damage or defeat enemies while torture is active. Interesting. So that kind of almost works like 3PO and how he inflicts expose for the rebels. At least it seems like that. Words do spring to mind. Whenever 000 or BT1 gains a stack of translation, that makes sense. They grant a stack of translation to the other. I was kind of figuring that 000 here, since he's a protocol droid, just like C3PO, you would think he's probably going to do translation for the dark side. So that's pretty cool. It'll be nice to see translation on the dark side teams as well. Droid Elitist. 000 inflicts target lock onto random non-droid enemies at the start of his turn, and when a non-droid enemy is defeated. 000 offers extra buffs and turn meter if a droid ally dealt the blow. Interesting. I'll be interested to see how target lock works with that kit. I don't think that comes into play a lot with Empire, unless you're combining with like Empire Droid. The probe droid, for instance, might work well with him, especially if you're putting together a droid-specific team. Like if you're going a droid team under Sortie, that would work pretty well. Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and move down to our key attributes / inspiration. Key attributes we kind of saw in the general overview of everything. When a non-droid enemy is defeated by a droid, gain bonuses. When one gains a stack of translation, the other earns a stack of translation as well. Once per turn. That's interesting. That's a little bit different than 3PO and R2, I believe. And then they, of course, reinforce the whole fact that he hurts everybody on the battlefield. Interesting. Inspiration number 1. This pair of droids comes directly from the Vader comics as two droids owned by the infamous Dr. Aphra. So if you guys followed the latest puzzle that was put out by Crumb, you'll know that Dr. Aphra is coming to the game. We knew from the results of that puzzle that they're going to be releasing her. If you guys aren't aware of that, Dr. Aphra worked under Vader in the comics. So this makes me wonder, obviously they showed them working well with other droids, but it makes me wonder, are we going to potentially have a Vader lead with Dr. Aphra and these two droids on the team? That could be really cool, especially if you throw, again, probe droid in there. That's another droid with target lock. That could be a really good team. I'm interested to see how that works. Inspiration. Fatal Shock is from him shocking hands. This is a cool fun fact here. Haywire ability was inspired by the time he got blinded by R2-D2, so in retaliation he just fired on everyone and everything. That's really cool. Strategy tips. Units are best used together and not on separate teams. That makes sense. Haywire is intended to assist you in the destruction of the opposing team. Interesting. So even though he damages your team, it's supposed to help in defeating the opposing team. A prescribed leader is needed to fulfill their potential, but you'll sort it out. That's got to be an allusion to Sortie. This team's going to work best under Swordy. Okay, so that means Vader is not going to be best with this team, perhaps. Like I first thought out. That has to be a hint towards Swordy. Has to be. It's interesting that it won't work under Dr. Aphra. Maybe Dr. Aphra won't be a leader. We're going to skip the facts. You guys can check those out. Let's go to the abilities themselves and some of the animations. There's the word I was looking for. Basic, overcharged laser for BT1 here. Final text, deal physical damage to target enemy 3 times and inflict a stack of damage over time for 2 turns. Damage over time. That again, that calls back to Vader. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking this might work well with Vader. Special 1, Agent of Destruction, cooldown of 3. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict expose for 1 turn, and a stack of damage over time. There's more damage over time for 2 turns. If the target enemy is inflicted with target lock, inflict burning and another stack of damage over. There's more damage over time. There is no way that this isn't going to work well with Vader. There's no way. There's too many damage over time effects. Unique 1, Homicidal Counterpart, Zeta and Omicron. Final text at the start of battle. BT1 gains 10% critical damage for each droid ally, 10% potency for each dark side ally, 5 speed for each scoundrel ally. Man, a lot of conditional stuff, similar to 3PO. If 000 is an active ally, gain the granted ability Kill Them All. I'm assuming that's the one where he goes nuts. Whenever 000 uses a special ability, BT1 assists, dealing 40% less damage. Oh, so that's interesting. A lot of assisting there between the two of them. Kill Them All, cooldown of 5. Deal physical damage to all enemies and call 000 to assist. I'm wondering if that is a Zeta or maybe the Omega. No, that's got to be the Zeta. Or the Omicron, I'm sorry. Yeah, that has to be the Zeta. And then the Omicron is while in 3v3 Grand Arenas, whenever BT1 or 000 defeat an enemy, their cooldowns are refreshed and they gain 30% turn meter. So that kind of stinks that this is only going to be a 3v3 Omicron. It should apply to 5v5. That drives me nuts that they do this. The same thing was true with Starkiller. Like, if you're going to have an Omicron that works in Grand Arenas, don't make it in 3v3 specific. Allow it. I can understand if you reduce its abilities in 5v5 because you're designing it specifically for 3v3. I get that, but don't eliminate it completely. That's just stinks. Unique 2. Oh, look at that animation. Look at that. That's so cool. That might be one of the best animations that I think I've seen in any recent time here in Swugga. Blastomech Prototype. Final text, BT1 gains 100% offense. Whenever BT1 defeats an enemy, he gains the granted ability Haywire and takes a bonus turn. During this bonus turn, BT1 removes ability block from himself and can only use the granted ability Haywire. So that's cool. So it has to happen. There's really no way to prevent it, basically. Haywire, deal physical damage to all other characters, reduced by 75% for allies. Okay, so that's how they keep it from damaging your allies too much. Can't be evaded, so it'll hit through foresight. That's good to know. This damage can't defeat allies or enemies. Interesting. That's odd. You know what? No, I bet you understand why. Because you want him to get the kills to activate Haywire. So by not defeating them, it allows him and or 000 the ability on an assist to get the kill for BT1, which triggers this ability over again. That's probably why it doesn't actually kill anybody. Interesting. 000 abilities. Basic, Fatal Shock. What is that? It's like he's... That's funny. It's like Palpatine, like a mini Palpatine with that animation. Final text. Deal special damage to target enemy and inflict shock for 1 turn. If the target enemy is non-droid and is already inflicted with shock, stun them for 1 turn instead. Interesting with the shock and stun. Kind of like Dooku a little bit. If this ability defeats an enemy, gain a stack of translation for 3 turns. I don't imagine him being as a support character that he's going to defeat a lot of people. I don't know. We'll see how that works in reality, though, in practice. Specialized in Torture. Cooldown of 5, and this is the Omicron. Final... That animation looks kind of boring. Final text. Deal special damage and inflict torture on target enemy for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. If the target enemy already had torture, instead deal special damage to all enemies and grant all dark side allies a stack of translation. So we must not be seeing that. version of the attack, maybe? Or maybe it just happens and there's no animation that goes along with it. While in 3v3 Grand Arenas, torture inflicted from this ability lasts for 2 turns. If BT1 is an active ally, BT1 and 000 recover 20% health and protection. Excuse me. If this ability defeats an enemy, all dark side allies gain 10% offense stacking for the rest of the counter, doubled for dark side droids. Oh, it's too bad that's only in Grand Arenas. That'd be a great raid ability. That stinks. Torture. Receive bonus damage equal to 10% of the character's max health when damaged by an attack. Reduce defense by 10% stacking, max 50%, for the rest of the encounter when damaged by an attack. Can't gain bonus turn meter. That's a big one. Tortures, that's pretty good. Removing the ability to get the bonus turn meter is really big. And then to constantly reduce their max health and defense is going to be also very, very helpful. That's pretty good. Unique 1. Interrogation Protocol. Final text. Dark side allies gain 20% critical damage. Whenever a dark side ally uses an ability on an enemy with torture, grant that ally 1 stack of translation. So I imagine that's the majority of the ways you're going to be getting translation for 3 turns. Dark side allies gain 5% potency for each stack of translation on them, doubled for droids. Translation. Beneficial effects build based on the cumulative number of stacks. And those, I believe those are pretty darn similar. 30% max health, 15% critical chance. Yeah, I think this is almost identical to what 3PO's is. I'll have to go back and check that, but I think that's pretty much the same thing. Unique 2. Drain Organics. This is a Zeta. Final text. Whenever 000 or BT1 gain a stack of translation, they grant a stack of translation to the other. Limit once per turn. At the start of 000's turn, inflict target lock for 1 turn on a random non-droid enemy that doesn't already have it. Interesting. Whenever a non-droid enemy is defeated, the attacking ally recovers 30% health and protection. That is big. That's extremely helpful. If the attacking ally is a dark side droid, they also gain offensive up for 2 turns and 15% turn meter. So there's some turn meter gain there too. That's really nice. If the attacking ally is BT1, he gains offense up for 2 turns and 30% turn meter instead. That's a significant increase in turn meter. Plus with the offense up and the fact that he is a droid attacker, and in particular, when he gets a kill, he gets this haywire ability. It certainly seems to me like the whole idea is you want BT1 hitting really hard. You're going to want lots of offense on him so that he can get kills. You're going to want to save kills for him. Kind of like Crew's ship, the Silencer. You really want to make sure that BT1 is getting the kills to kind of increase his stats, increase his offense, and to get this haywire ability going. And you'll just spam stuff constantly. That'll be interesting to see how that works. Alright, so that covers our whole kit here, folks. Like I said, I imagine that this is going to work really well under Vader in particular, especially for raids, probably. It'll be interesting to see what Dr. Aphra brings to the kit as well. I'm sure that'll have an effect. And then obviously they make the illusion that Sortie is who they should be under as a leader. I don't necessarily see that well. T3M4 could work, but I'll be intrigued to see how that works. Let me know in the comments, folks, what you think. You know, do you think this is going to be a Vader team? Do you think it's going to work best under Sortie, like they're kind of suggesting? Or do you have any other ideas that maybe we didn't think of in this video here? Last but not least, folks, if you liked what you saw today, feel free to leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and then turn on notifications so you guys don't miss any of the other videos that we've got going on here. I posted the link to the other videos in our sight reading session up above, and then I'll also have the cards here at the end, some other videos you guys can check out as well. All right, folks, catch you next time.